Unfortunately, Barbara went with 25, Weatherman went 23. Believe me, I knew it was going to be hotter than that. I really, really did. Start of a new working week. It is Monday, March 15th, and I'm absolutely elated. Yes, I'm joined by Downtown Abbey and the Echoes coming out of North Carolina. This is going to be fantastic. Now, first of all, let me do this. And you know something? I am absolutely loving this, believe me. Downtown Abbey and the Echoes. We're going to be joined by Abby herself and also joined by Bailey Faulkner. And believe me, this is fantastic. Better now, right here at Galaxy. Here's Downtown Abbey and the Echoes. Gosh, it's hot in here, Barbara. It really is hot. God. Abby, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on board. Thank you for being a part of the Galaxy family.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Now, you know, I'm really excited. I really, really am, because we started this conversation off with you've got new music coming out, and I want to talk about that very, very shortly. But first of all, thank you to everybody that's joining us this morning on Facebook Live. It is an absolute pleasure to have you back again, and you know, I'm humbled today. I really, really am. Of course, we're joined by Abby herself from Downtown Abbey and the Echoes, and Bailey's with us as well. Bailey being an absolute superb guitarist. Now, I got to be honest with you, Abby, I'm an engineer. I have been for almost 40 years, not only as a recording engineer, but a front of house engineer as well. Have travelled around the world with some very huge names over the years, and it's not often that I actually find a band that takes my interest as much as I have with this band. Now,
thank you so much.
I really want to talk about this band. I really, really do. You and Bailey are, well, basically school friends, aren't you?
Yes, Bailey and I grew up together, and Bailey will be in and out to answer some questions too. Bailey and I grew up together. We went to high school in the same town, a couple hours from here. Started making music, especially in college. And it's really taken off from there. And yeah, it's a special relationship working with somebody that you've known for so long. Very, very different from, it's a special kind of relationship to grow up with somebody and be able to work together like this. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah, believe me, everybody I grew up with couldn't work with me at all. Believe me, it's true. Cheryl Arnold's on board. Thank you, Cheryl, for joining us. Gary Hakama and Anthony Gorey.
Yeah,
Anthony's coming for an interview in the very, very near future too. Welcome. Kia ora, katoa.
And you've actually got Cheryl's t-shirt
I
on.
do have Cheryl's t-shirt on. In fact, if you have a look. Look at that. I don't turn my back to people often.
No.
But this time it's worthwhile. It really, really is. Cheryl, love you. Really, really do. Today we're talking to Abby, coming from Downtown Abbey and the Echoes, and this is a fantastic band. It really, really is. Going to get right into the skinny of it, but first of all, let's introduce them to the rest of the world. Got to welcome along Chris Karmazelis as well. Thank you for joining us. Terry Von Cannon's in there as well. Nice to have you with us, brother man. It is an absolute pleasure, because today we're talking to Abby Bryant, coming from the band Downtown Abbey and the Echoes. And sporadically, yes, we're going to be joined by the lead guitarist as well. We're talking about Bailey Faulkner. Now, you guys have been, to school together. You've been up and down the road together. You've been writing songs. Now, who is the major contributor as far as writing songs, Abby?
Bailey, you can join me for this question if you want to. Bailey's coming to just chat with me about the songwriting because a lot of that is 50-50. We sort of take different roles with the songwriting, and a lot of times he'll start with, you want to describe how you start out with an idea for a song?
A lot of times I'll come up with some ideas for some chords or sort of a rough, loose idea for a melody, and maybe just like a general subject we might want to talk about, and then I'll take it to Abby, and she really helps me flesh out lyrics and just finishing the song, coming up with a bridge, stuff like that.
And the lyrics are my main thing, and I also love help craft the melody too. So it's there are occasionally songs that I write totally independently and songs that he'll write on his own, but typically it's a 50-50 process. I think we were just playing Better Now. That's one that we created together.
Yeah, I really want to ask you, because that's a good segue into that, to be very honest. We kicked the show off with Better Now. Tell me about the lyrics. Let's fill the fans in here about what the meaning behind the message is.
Well, the message behind Better Now is to stick with it. It meaning, I guess it could apply to a lot of things. In our case, it's the long-standing partnership that we've created, making music together. And in the beginning, it's certainly tough. All the traveling in the early days when people don't know who you are yet, and the pay is low, and there are some struggles early on. And I think Better Now is kind of that message that we were sending, that we felt we're feeling a breakthrough and we're feeling growth, and we're really insistent on sticking with it and seeing this through and to be as great as it can be.
Well, I got to congratulate you, believe me. We have a few friends that we would love to be able to introduce you guys to. It's all about the promotions of Downtown Abbey and the Echoes. Literally, we want to be able to get you into Germany, want to be able to get you into India in different capacities, and possibly even into the UK. But have you ever considered maybe once this, and it is a surreal time right now with this COVID virus thing going on, but once this is all said and done, would you consider coming to New Zealand and playing in front of New Zealand audiences?
There has been some talk of overseas touring, yes. That may be a little while. It looks like we were actually talking about, had things not gone the way they did with COVID, maybe like a winter of this year probably would have been about the time we were moving into overseas touring, but that hasn't happened. So I believe that it will. I absolutely believe that it will, hopefully within the next couple of years.
Well, we're allowed to have concerts here at the moment. Literally, I think next month, one of our biggest bands, which is 660, one of New Zealand's biggest bands, is going to have a concert. Expected about 30,000 people. So, we're getting back to normal here in New Zealand, because we're not doing too bad as far as the COVID virus thing goes. Just waiting for the borders to open up so that we can bring absolutely talented people like yourselves to New Zealand, tour you up and down the country. We can even share you with Australia. Only because we like their money. Australia and New Zealand, we have this love-hate thing. It's like Canadians and Americans in the ice hockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, ours is rugby. Our national game is rugby union. And, we have the All Blacks and they don't have any silverware. Let's put it like that. And they haven't had, Bledisloe Cup. I was talking to a guy the other day. The Bledisloe Cup, they haven't held the Bledisloe Cup in 31 years. Great team. Keep it up. We love that. You know what I mean? So, and you may gather that we tend to give Australians about a stick. I've got to be honest with you. It's not our fault they can't spell beer. And I'm not kidding, they got a can, literally it's got alcohol and then it's got 4 X's on it. Couldn't think of how to spell beer. So guys, we did open up the show with Better Now. Now, where did you get this recorded? Who was your producer?
We've sort of done this whole project on our own, so it's really just Abby and I using our ears to produce it. We're including a bit of an updated version on that for our upcoming album. And we recorded all of that in Asheville. We did some remote recording as well with some guests, but we've done everything on our own in town.
Well, I got to be honest with you, as I let the cat out of the bag, I've been doing engineering now for almost 40 years in some of the most prestigious recording studios in the country, and some very, very well-known ones around the world as well. And as an engineer, I don't listen to music as a fan would listen to it. I listen to it and break it down in its increments, work it out, see how it's done. I can't fault this. If this is a home recording, that makes it that much better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and that's we've had a lot of that's essentially what this new album is coming up. You're gonna get to hear a whole 13 song debut. It'll be our first full length album of songs that we've essentially crafted from our bass player studio. From using just our own brain power without the presence of a hired producer. So it's been a really great chance to get creative during this whole quarantine season.
And since we can't travel right now as a band, we were able to focus a lot more in the studio. So I'm very happy with what we're going to be coming out with soon.
Certainly. I think it's safe to say, actually, some sort of a silver lining is, I believe it's safe to say we've ended up with a more finished, more complete, more detailed project with this album than we ever would have been able to pull off during all the touring and the album release season we were planning. It was going to be a lot. In fact, right as COVID hit and the shutdown happened, but trying to finish this album and get on continue a really lengthy tour, it was going to be a lot on us, and this has really been a chance to step back and focus only on making this everything that it possibly could be.
Well, let me tell you, don't change a thing, don't fix anything that isn't broken, because this is working. It really, really is. And I applaud you guys for doing what you're doing. I really, really do. And as I say, as an engineer, I don't listen to it as a fan would. So believe me, I'm very impressed with this now. I really, really am. Having said that, now I got a fan question for you guys. Are you guys on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? But more importantly, do you respond?
Yes.
Oh.
Absolutely. So Instagram is probably the platform we're most active on. That's DownTown Abbey Band. If anybody who's listening is interested in checking that out, that's DownTown Abbey. There's no E in Abbey, just one word. DownTown Abbey Band. And if we get back to direct messages, comments, anything like that as soon as we can. Same goes for Facebook. I try to stay as responsive on there as possible, and we try to make that a meaningful place to actually engage with people. We're also on Twitter. That one's a little bit less of an active, place of interest for us. It's not one that we put quite as much time into, but certainly, any way that someone is seeking to engage with us, we can do that.
You should not have said that at all. Now you're going to get another 5,000 Instagram fans. You'll be there all day, literally. Now, do you have a...
Let's put it that way.
Do you have a website, and do you have merch on your website that people can acquire?
Yes, indeed. That is downtownabbey.com. And we certainly do have a merch store. In fact, there are some things that are quite in time for the season, like some hoodies, some baseball tees.
It's hot there.
Yeah, okay.
It's so cold here, so we've got some hoodies and long sleeve shirts, but we've got some other merch there too, in our CDs and music. And
well,
yeah.
Well, you guys have got spring coming up right now, pretty much, don't you? You're heading into summertime. Let me put it this way. Guess what? We're heading into winter. Wouldn't mind a hoodie.
Okay.
Yeah. How about sending us some of your finished product, maybe some CDs and stuff that we could do a giveaway. Keep your name rolling here at Galaxy, and believe me, bands come and go very, very quickly, if you know what I mean. But the more we can keep your name rolling, the more our listeners, our followers, and our disciples from around the world can partake in a bit of Downtown Abbey and the echoes. And believe me, even when I'm doing interviews, people want to know who I'm wearing. You know what I mean? And before you know it, you've got another 5,000 Facebook fans. And right now, you know, Blue Mariah Band is getting people getting in touch with them. They're on the interwebby right now and talking to you. And believe me, I know exactly what you're going through right now, Cheryl Arnold. I really, really do. Just expect the wave of people coming your way because I'm wearing your shirt. So you can see the value, literally, of advertising. And we want to be able to advertise you as much as possible, get behind you, and get your name out there on another level. I think you guys are ready now for the next step in the run of music. And I think you guys literally have a future here. I really, really do. So, if you don't mind, as I said to you earlier on, I'd like to introduce you to some of our friends. They will certainly do things like put you on a TV show in Germany and a podcast, and believe me, we're going to be on one this weekend and the same thing. I'm not sure, would you know the band Autograph?
I know a little bit.
I'm a little bit familiar, yeah.
Yeah, rock legends of the back in the day, if you know what I mean, the long hair. I'm sure Blair there, Bailey there, sorry, would understand about the long hair. But Autograph, a good friend of mine out of that is Steve Lynch. He was the lead guitarist and formerly of Autograph. Now he's going to be on the show, and we would love to be able to get you on that, literally. Then introduce you to a good friend of ours coming out of India. Now, he's in a region that has about 8 million people, and I'm sure everybody there knows him. He's that popular, you know what I mean? There's about that many people subscribing to his magazine. Now, we would love to be able to get you in that magazine, and believe me, that again is on a global scale. It really, really is. It's about getting Downtown Abbey and the echoes out there in every possible way. Having said that, are you familiar with the Galaxy artist page on Galaxy?
Yes.
Please use it. Everybody looks at it. They really, really do. Please use it if you've got gigs, if you've got a new song, if you've got a new video. If you just want to say something on behalf of Downtown Abbey, please look at it and use it, because people in there, like agents, managers, promoters, you never know. You might even want a new drummer, or you might want a new guitarist. You never know what might happen in the future. Use it. Believe me, they are there. They really are. Technology, isn't it great? Sorry, I'll just...
yes.
following you guys on technology at the same time. I didn't realise we'd lost the feed. So, guys, I want to talk to you about Roll With Me, because... believe me, this was the very first song that I heard. Now, it's not easy in the first place to get an interview with us, as you may understand very shortly. And, well, Barbara gets about 30 to 50 bands a day getting in touch with her, wanting to do interviews, wanting to do the promotions, wanting to do the whole deal. And then we've got to, well, there's only a certain amount of time in the day, you know what I mean, that we can get into this, and only a certain amount of time in the week. So we have to whittle it down a bit. Then Barbara takes that to production. Production and Barbara sort of, well, they're up against the board, you see, so they have to get it down again. And it can only be good music. If it's not good, we can't even use it. You know what I'm saying? Because their only interest is our image. Once it gets past all of those and ticks all the boxes, Barbara hands it to me on a little USB kind of deal that I Bluetooth onto my car stereo. Now, let me tell you, I've got a pretty good car stereo. It's a boomer. And I go listening to you in the car now for two reasons. First reason is, nobody else can influence me on whether or not I want to do the interview, you know?
Right.
Second reason is nobody else wants to drive with me. Well, it's true. They kind of think that going sideways is weird. Now, let me fill you in. We're in between three major cities in a little milling town, literally. Now, within minutes, we can go to any one of these different cities and participate in being a cityite if we want to. But this here is an absolutely picturesque, it's a beautiful little town, and it's got forestry everywhere. And I know where they hide the keys to the gates. So I go driving. Literally, couldn't think of a better time to put the pedal down, have a little bit of fun, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden Roll With Me comes on the stereo, and I pulled over the car, took in the ambience of the place at the time where I was at, and I got to be honest with you, looking down this gully was absolutely fantastic. Turned up the stereo, cracked the cold one, and played the song a couple of times. Now I want to know why you captured my imagination. Tell me all about it. Let's start with the lyrics.
Well,
This was the first song of this new batch of music for the album.
yes, the Roll With Me is actually one of, like you said, one of the earlier ones that we wrote. And it started with that chorus. It started with a song about commitment, and kind of like, in a way it kind of is in the same thing of Better Now, but maybe this is one is more commitment to a person or a friendship. And that's if you're gonna roll with me, you gotta take the punches too. I just kind of was sitting on that for a while. I was actually thinking more melody first. It was just on our minds and in our heads for a while, and I felt that being kind of a new way to move into this set of songs that's going to be on the new album, and the lyrics and everything else just kind of fell into place based on that little. What would you call it? Maybe just a little line, a little melodic line I kept hearing and feeling.
Would you call it an earworm?
Sorry?
Would, an earworm?
Yes, I think that's accurate. Yes.
Okay, well, I tell you what, it got me as well. It really, really did. I couldn't wait to get it back here and add it into the system, get production working on it. And once we played it, believe me, it went ballistic. It really, really did. We didn't put any names to it. We just played it, and our internet blew up. It really did. People wanted to know the skinny. They wanted to know who, what, when, where, how, and when are we doing the interview. This explains it right there. Explains it. It does. So, right here at Galaxy is Downtown Abbey and the Echoes with Roll With Me and Galaxy. So, what style of music would you class yourselves at?
It's kind of hard. We've mostly called it soul rock, but I think it's a mashup of a lot of different genres, sort of from where we are, the American South. So there's soul and blues and rock and roll and maybe like a little bit of kind of R&B almost and gospel. So
Yeah.
it just kind of reflects where we're from and the traditions we grew up
Yeah,
with.
it's such a blend of those influences that it's hard to describe, but our short 2-word phrase for it, is often soul rock if we're asked.
Okay, that's going to confuse the hell out of my production team because they couldn't find a place to put you to start with. So we put you in blues, we put you in rock, we put you in the morning show because we're getting so many requests for you guys. And literally, I was told we've got 1,712 requests since we've been playing you. So well done.
Wow.
That
is wonderful to hear. Wow, we're impressed.
Well,
Thanks, guys, for listening.
It impresses me as well because, believe me, as I say, the breakfast show is made up of requests, and with this kind of music, I think you've struck a chord with our fans and our listeners. In fact, I don't call them fans, I call them our audio audience because there's just so many of them. I couldn't call them fans. There's too many of you to call fans. It really is. And respectfully, I call you our audio audience. I really, really do. And for you guys that are watching on the Facebook right now, I've got to welcome you along. Do you know Terry Van Cannon? He comes from North Carolina.
I'm not sure that I do.
I don't, not that I know of.
Okay, well, he's put up here NC Strong. So I think I think we've converted him into being a fan of yours. Now, you guys are playing with Whiskey Foxtrot, aren't you?
We are. That's the our.
Yeah, Power Sound.
That'll be our first time playing with them.
Yes.
Okay, so you haven't met them before, or do you know them?
I don't believe. well, hopefully we know them personally. We know of them well just because of this region, and we're looking forward to a particular event called Power and Sound Revival, where we'll be playing with them. I'm sure it'll be a great experience. I've been hearing a lot about them. You know, I've since heard some of their music, so.
They're characters.
Definitely.
You have to keep an eye out for them. They're characters. They really, really are. They like to have a bit of fun. They do. Let's go back to the desk. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 26 away from lunchtime, 12 o'clock here, and 23 degrees right now. It doesn't matter whether the weatherman wins or not from now on, I've already done it. So, it's a byproduct right now. Monday, March 15th, and Bailey, your parents like the Beatles?
Yes, they, especially my mother, really got me into the Beatles. They were always listening to them as I was a kid, and my mom really likes Paul McCartney, so I think that's probably where I got my sense of melody from. But I'm still a huge fan. They're my favorite band for sure.
Yeah, kind of getting on a bit now, though, aren't they? You might be lucky to find one now. Literally one. If you are lucky, maybe two. You never know. Two. Yeah, okay. Now, I got to ask you guys, are you writing more music? Are you looking at releasing more music? Moreover, and this is quite selfish of me, really, will you come back again and release new music with us here at Galaxy?
Absolutely. Just send us a message, and we'll be right there in touch with you. We would love that. And good timing for that question, because not only has our big project during quarantine been finishing this album that's about to come out, that's basically finished right now, but it gave us the time to write a whole series of songs ahead of the ones that are currently being released. So we're sitting on nearly another whole new album of original songs that we haven't played live yet, that are not even fully formed in terms of the live band and the recording studio. So we're certainly getting there. And the actual plan is, as soon as this next series of our first full-length album debuts this spring, or within these next few months, we're going to be moving right on to the new material and making demos and getting into the studio with the new, you could call them the new songs, I guess, because the new ones are about to come out, and there are even newer ones than that.
So what do we call it? Say post-COVID-19 tracks. What do you reckon?
Right.
Right.
I love that. I really, really do. And Abby, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. Bailey, always an honour to meet you as well. Please come back again. Don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to do a couple of things yet, and I'll apologise now. But right now, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Here's Pussycat and Hey Joe.